Hey guys, welcome back. It's Linda from Rooted in Him Soaps and More. Today I'm not going to be talking about soap, but actually fermented garlic honey. So I always try to keep a jar of fermented garlic honey on hand. Well, garlic in its own is very good for fighting off infection. It's antibacterial, it's antiviral, and honey, well, raw honey is very good for a number of things as well. It's also antibacterial and antiviral. And so when you put the two together, it just creates like a little powerhouse for your immune system. So I try to keep it on hand all the time. And I was starting to get a little bit low after fighting off a sinus infection last week. This is what I have left of my last batch that I made. The honey was a little bit thick, so you can kind of see the honey in there. It's pretty thick, but you can see the garlic cloves. And since I'm getting low, I figured I would bring you all along and show you how I make it. Okay, so here you see I have my bowl of peeled garlic, and this was about six heads of garlic that I ended up peeling. And usually I like to use local raw honey, but this time I had some of this on hand that I picked up at Costco. So I got 2 bottles here. I don't know if it's gonna take 2 bottles or not, but we'll see. We'll see how many go inside of the jar. I've got my clean jar ready to go with my lid. I wanted to show you, I have a weight. I'm not gonna use it. Some people do like to use it to keep the garlic under the honey, and you can if you want to. I don't use it just because it gets really sticky and you kind of have to fish through the jar to get it out, and it's more of a pain than anything. But, so I will show you how I cut or poke little holes in the garlic before I put it in the jar, and I will explain as I go. Okay. So I'm going to take my clove and just poke little holes. It doesn't matter how many you poke, just get some holes in there so that the garlic will release the oils. And if there's any yucky parts on your garlic like that, you can just cut that little piece off. It's not gonna do anything, but you just wanna go through and poke some holes. You could even use a fork. It might even be a little faster. And for big pieces like this, if you don't want such a large piece of garlic, you could always cut it in half or even in thirds. I'll cut it probably in thirds and then just put holes. All throughout like so. Okay, and I will be back as soon as I am done poking holes in all the garlic. Okay, so I got the garlic all pierced and inside of this jar. I don't know if you can tell how much is in there, but it's a good amount. It's probably about halfway full. So now I'm going to take my honey and just pour it on top. I should just do this without. Okay, and I've got a spoon here. You don't want to use metal with your raw honey, because when raw honey comes in contact with metal, it actually kills all the good qualities that are in it. So I usually use a wooden spoon or like this bamboo straw spoon that I have, but I do not use metal ever since I've learned about that. And it looks like 1 jar is going to be probably enough of the honey. Okay, just gonna make sure it's all coated in the honey. try to get as much out as I can. Okay, it's almost all out. Okay, I'm just gonna try to get the rest of this honey out, and then I will come right back and show you what it looks like when it's when it's all ready to go. Okay, I'm back. So I finally got all the honey out of the jar, and I actually ended up opening the second one and just adding a little bit more just to fill it to the top. You'll notice that all the garlic has gone to the top. And so what you can do while it's sitting on your counter, because you're gonna leave it to sit, actually you should put it in a dark cupboard to sit for about 4 weeks. Sometimes I let it sit for about 6 weeks, but usually 4 weeks before you start to use it. But as it's sitting in your cupboard or pantry or wherever you put it that's in a dark place, you will turn it upside down every day, at least once a day, so that the garlic comes to the top and it kind of mixes. And I don't know if you can see it starting to, the garlic will start to float to the top. You can see it right there, the garlic is starting to come up. And you'll notice that as the garlic releases its oils and juices, it will start to have bubbles around it. It'll start to bubble and ferment, which is good, you want that. But you're gonna have to open your jar and burp it about once, maybe twice a day, just to let the gases out from the bubbles from the garlic and the fermentation. And also I wanted to tell you, if your garlic starts to turn like a blue or a green, it's okay, don't freak out. It's just the chemical reaction between the garlic and the lactic acid, and it's perfectly fine. You can consume it, it's not gonna hurt you. It's just a chemical reaction. And I usually, the most I think a jar has lasted me is about a year. Some people say they've had theirs for a couple of years and they haven't had any problems. They just store it in a dark cupboard and open it and eat it as needed. So certainly you could definitely keep it for a couple of years, but like I said, the most I've kept mine is a year because they don't last longer than that. We usually go through it pretty fast. It's safe for children. It's safe for pretty much anybody except for, I would say, kids under a year because of the honey. You're not supposed to give them honey anyways. And I always label it what it is and date it just so I know and I don't have any mystery jars. All right, well, thanks for hanging out with me. God bless.